Hi guys, welcome back to another quick card pull. This is filmed on Tuesday, March 24th. Today we're pulling from the Dragon Tarot. You know me, you know I love dragons. We used to do Throne Thursdays when, this just makes it a little bit easier to do things. So they're showing the Ten of Pentacles. So this is an absolute yes. This is showing a happy home, content couple, children, multiple generational family, fur babies. So where a lot of people overlook how rich they are, it's like so many people wish they had the things that you currently overlook. And we got to remember a lot of the times it's like when we overlook those things, it's like that grateful heart is like, remember once upon a time, we used to pray for this and now we're here enjoying it. You know what I mean? So it's like, enjoy, be appreciative, be grateful for where you are. There's nothing wrong with asking for more because that's how you grow and evolve. It just trust in the timing. Like, I know we all want things really quickly, but you got to put that energy, that manifestation energy into that. There is this energy here where you've outgrown a situation. So this is to the full moon. So you may see like some forward motion with this next week. And we have the Chariot as the next card, basically confirming this, bringing that balance back into everything. So this week, when did the 20th happen here? Let me just look here. So so April 10th. I feel like next week the 3rd, but I feel like the 10th is when you would definitely feel the energy shift of things, without that kind of hangover. But there's something that they're saying hanging on to that we're not moving forward from. But I feel like it's like everybody's a little bit different. Like with myself, it's just like, they're like, you got to leave, certain parts of that. And I understand to an extent. But it's like when someone is woven into your DNA, you know what I mean? You can't really be like, oh, you got to leave that in the past. So it's like, no, that'll never be my past. That will always be my past, present, future. Period. You know what I mean? So the great thing is it's an 8. So that does show like, as things go out, things come in, like the infinity symbol is what I'm seeing. But like that ebb and flow. But I feel like it's I can definitely feel this where it's just like or like even your kid, like I feel like it's like not allowing your children to grow because that's how you raise them, right? To be independent and know their boundaries. Like, this one's more independent than this one. This one needs a little bit more nurturing. This one needs a little bit more comforting and guidance and time, whereas the other one is just like, oh my gosh, like off like a shot. But also it's like, you gotta, yes, you are very strong. You're very intelligent. You know what I mean? You have a lot of the things, but you also tend to do things and not listen and get hurt. So it's like, you know what I mean? Like physically hurt. So it's just like, we got to understand like, okay, let's learn how to walk before we run. You know what I mean? So it could be like, where your children are going off to college, or maybe they're talking about moving out or going to living on campus or something like that. So it is hard for a parent that, especially that your whole life, you know what I mean, is, and every parent is different, but it's just like their care, comfort, that, nurturing, you know what I mean? It's like, yes, they're being raised to be independent as well, but at the same time, it's like having a hard time of releasing. But I feel like in time, you know what I mean, everyone's taking steps to make that better. Like, obviously, as a parent that wants to see your children fly, you don't want to sit there and hinder their progress. I feel confident about this. I feel it because it's cups, it's water emotions. I feel like this is where they're saying forward motion, finding that balance, the yin yang balance. But, there's your Chariot, you know what I mean? Forward motion. This is the era of, feeling more confident and evolving and, you know what I mean? But not being a gatekeeper. You know what I mean? It's like doing all the things that our heart pulls us to do in a positive way. Ace of Swords, Sword of Truth. As we move forward, being truthful with ourselves, you can't put your fears onto other people because that's not fair to them. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, yes, it's great that you're confident in everything, but just be cautious. You know what I mean? Take baby steps, especially when with certain things with us, it's like, I know this is something that could be crippling for you. So let's take baby steps, see how it goes, and then add on little by little, and then see where it goes. You know what I mean? So It's like, it's like where the children problems, like, learning how to tie your shoes 1 2 3s and whatever, it's like now it's adult problems. You know what I mean? But you know what I mean? How grateful are we that, some of us had amazing parents, some of us not so much. And it's just like, you get to be who should have been there for you. Full circle. You know what I mean? But it's just like, be the best kids don't come with freaking instruction books, you know what I mean? Ace of Swords, I feel like it's like they're like on guard. See, they're showing the moon sideways here, so we're talking about that yin yang balance. But Ace of Swords, this Libra energy, air signs, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, but it's like on guard. Like, basically I feel like you're calling out someone's bullshit. You know what I mean? It's like, or that you're standing up for yourself. You know what I mean? Whereas you would take the verbal assault and you just now it's just like, no. You know what I mean? It's not to be a smart ass. It's not, you know what I mean? Not to prove a point or anything, but it's just like, you know what? You gotta F around and find out, But I love the fact that they're talking about balance here, because it's like the full moon is coming in next week. And I feel like sideways, I feel like a choice. We did start with the Two of Pentacles there, and I'm like, well, let's see here. You know what I mean? It's just like finding, again, with the Chariot, it's about, we're talking about 8 of Cups, and fire, you know what I mean? Where it's just like the year of the horse, fire energy, like, burning up emotions that don't serve us, you know what I mean? Where it's like insecurities. I don't feel like it's so much insecurities. I feel like it's kind of like, where you trust the world with your children, and the Michelangelo sculpture, these two cards were sticking together. I feel like calling in tribe, they're saying calling in tribe, but I circle the moon coming full circle. You know what I mean? It's just like illuminating. I feel like shadow. You know what I mean? I feel like because there's that hangover energy, I feel like there's still something hiding in the shadows here. Not too much. Like the moon definitely illuminates it, but this is able to hide in the shadow. You know what I mean? Where if you watch Passion of the Christ, where you see the adversary, just kind of like, they pull him on a dolly, but it's brilliant how they did it. And it's just like moving through the crowd. It's like, if you do what I say, then manipulation. You know what I mean? And then this can end. You know what I mean? But keep pursuing forward. Don't give in to, you know what I mean? The truth from, again, where it's like on guard. It's basically standing up for the truth. 9 of Pentacles, this is a rebirth in life. So someone around you could be pregnant. This is so funny. But positive pregnancy test is what they're saying. They're showing a white, I feel like it's that, is it not clear blue? I don't know the name of that pregnancy test, but it's the white one with the pink cap. I'm not sure what that one's called. Clear blue is the other one. That one never worked for me. But, rebirth in our life. Remember they were talking about fresh and new? You know what I mean? This is all what spring is about. This is, if you watch the Frankenstein movie, I love that movie, on Netflix. It's, you know what I mean? It's just like where the gentleman in the cottage, is teaching him wisdom, and it's just like, you've never seen the winter, everything clean, makes everything new and clean again. Kind of same language we use with spring. Funny enough, we keep getting this truth, and there we go again with the Queen of Swords, but she looks like she's blindfolded here, and it's like the dragon is her eyes. So like birds of the air, like crows, minor messages, owls, major, and they're showing the full moon. So some truth coming out here. Misinformation is what they're saying. Someone told you something and it was not true. And I feel like that they're saying miscommunication. That was not miscommunication. That was just them stirring the pot and bored with their life. You know what I mean? It's just like, I am chasing my tail. I am so crazy right now. It's just, I can't keep up. Like, honestly, like I keep having to push things, and I'm just like, okay, but you know what? Once upon a time, it wasn't like this. So it's like, take it as I can, do as much as I can get done, prioritizing. You know what I mean? It's just like, this needs to get done because I know by this time I need to be somewhere, for 9.5 hours. So it's like, this timeline, but, you know, hopefully by next week, this will all be better energy. You know what I mean? But doing the best you can. But Queen of Swords and the full moon again. And look how she's comforting. Like, thank you for telling me. Thank you for bringing this message to me. So if you are someone that does, communicate with birds, or someone that does, look fondly at birds, I know some people will be like, huh? But that's fine. Whoever that's supposed to resonate with will resonate with. This could be in your dreams. So that wake dream state where I have my paper, my pen, looks like chink and scratch, but I can write it out later on. I usually write in my binder the date, this was what was said, and then I can go back to it and, refer to it. Love the Emperor energy. And I always feel like, don't, you know what I mean? Don't mess with me, like, because of the armor being shown here. But I also love how his dragon's tail is intertwined with him, and it's not there to hurt him or them. You know what I mean? I feel like it's like, like in a loving embrace as an, what do you call that? As a, how would you call that? A confidant. You know what I mean? Or it's like, if someone, I feel like speaking another language, interpreter. You know what I mean? Like we're talking about the birds of the air, where some people will be like, huh? But I definitely feel like in a warming embrace, like I definitely feel like if anyone came towards him, it's like protection. So this could be where you have, like you believe in Yahweh, Yeshua, Gaia, Mother Earth, divine, higher self, universe. It's like knowing that they stand in front of you, kind of like the strength card, right? Where it's just like, a lot of people say like, she's brave, she's putting her hand in the light. And I'm like, I also see it as spirit standing in front of you. This fierce lion. Leo, fire energy. Let me absorb the water around you. Let me absorb your emotions so you can see the truth. We're getting a lot of truth cards, you know what I mean, with the swords. Allow me to bear the truth to you, but I definitely feel like protection, home, you know what I mean, when we come to this. They're showing for sale sign. I know someone that's doing that. They're showing for sale. Sold. So, you know what I mean? Positive confirmation of them getting that house. But foundation, so protecting your home. Maybe you are feeling like insecure around your home, and it's like spirit just reconfirming like you're good. Some people do get, kind of, post-traumatic just stress disorder, or, some kind of trigger to things in the past where you don't feel home security, and that's not a good feeling to have. You know what I mean? So I feel like, they're like, F those a-holes. So someone's trying to make you feel like, you're not on steady ground. And I feel like this is spirit, like, you're good. You know what I mean? Or they're going to tell, like, they'll come and someone comes and tells you something and they tell you the truth. Page of Wands, 3 weeks time. Fire energy. Look at the embrace between the two. I love that. So again, like a messenger, you know what I mean? Someone coming to send you a loving message. Someone you trust. So we're sitting there and we're just like, okay, what is this concerning? Why are they bringing this up so much? Why is truth coming out so much? Why are they showing birds of the air being significant as deliverer messages? Because I feel like, again, someone is, this is why I feel like hangover energy, deceit is what they're showing me as the Seven of Swords, because someone is trying to cause a tower moment here. So this literally happened to me. I did all the things. I jumped, here you go. Positive confirmation before you panic. You're going to make it through. And I felt like that because they were showing like, this warm embrace with the dragon being like, we're adversaries, not adversaries, but we're confidants, we're partners. The way that the dragon embraces the emperor, you know what I mean? It's just like they're being loving deliverers of messages here. So I feel like this is where they're showing literally my mind's eye, instead of going forward in your path where they were showing like that 8 of cups, where it's like you should be going forward here, but there's like this hesitation, you know what I mean? And it's just like there's a hesitation for a reason, you know what I mean? And it's like, trust the hesitation, because sometimes it's like we feel like we're doing something wrong, or quote unquote being lazy, or we're not doing enough, or we're trying to force things to happen here, and spirit is like, nope, you're going around this and then we're going to go on the other side. Even though you can't see what's on the other side, spirit is like, don't worry about that, we got you. Like the sunflowers surround these beautiful children, the purity of the situation, that you will be the victor wearing the wreath in this situation. You got the Chariot card. You know what I mean? So this is positive confirmation of moving forward and finding balance. So what you thought may have happened, or what has been called in, or maybe you're getting channel messages of, this is Spirit saying, no worries. We know what you want. We know that we're trying to bring it in. You know, but this is not the way to go. This is not it for you. This is not it, baby. You know what I mean? There's like, we're bringing in something better. We can see things. We've heard conversations that you are not privy to. So we're like, this is not what we want. We're going to switch it up. So instead of bringing more drama and conflict and worry and stress into your life, you know, just hang on a little longer. They're like that song, Help Is On The Way. You know, where they're talking about Elijah visiting the woman in the Bible days, and, you know, he asked for cakes, and she's like, you know, I tell you, like, I only have enough for, like, today, and that's it. I don't even have enough oil. And he goes, I promise you, go make me cakes, and you and your family will not go without. And they didn't. By trusting and having faith. They're showing when Jesus was walking in the villages, and the woman was hemorrhaging, and she's like, if I only touch his robe, I know I will be healed. And she touched his robe, and he turned to her and said, because of your faith, sister, that's why you are healed. So it's just like, you know that what you're trying to bring in here is meant for you. It's just, they're like, we have something better. And sometimes it's hard to trust that and have patience. But it's just like, the timing is not right. This is not the right place. This is not the right situation. This is not the right people. You know, where they were saying like house insecurity or something, because like the energy ain't the way that we want it. So we're going to fix this. You know what I mean? We're going to make it a better situation. So have patience as the information unfolds. So I feel like summer. They're showing summer. You know, definitely the big sun there, right? But summer, peak energy there. Peak time for you to be outside and everything. Enjoy. I feel like you're enjoying your summer, and this is going to happen in the late fall, early winter. December 24th is what they're showing. 1717 on the timer. December has been very potent, but I'll write that down. December 24th. I know that means a lot to a lot of people because Christmas and everything like that, but, you know, this year may be a little different. More people around the tree than you expected. But, you know, it is what it is. You know what I mean? And it's just like, you know, like they said, just take your time. We're diverting you around the chaos. It's just like if you have your Maps app open and you're traveling. Instead of going straight, we're going to put you on a diversion. You're going to go through a cul-de-sac, and you're going to be on the other side. May take a little bit longer, but you're going to end up right exactly where you wanted to be. Just trust the process. So I hope you enjoyed this quick card pull. May the universe bless you good.